Tzu Chi's aid distribution in Sri Lanka, Tzu Chi care recipients learn that giving is not the privilege of the rich. Students from Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School spend their summer vacation volunteering and entertaining the sick and elderly. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. In Sri Lanka, Tzu Chi recently held its monthly aid distribution in Colombo, benefiting 36 underprivileged families. At this occasion, the participants understood the true meaning of home visitations through videos. After witnessed suffering, many have learned to appreciate their blessings and vow to help other less fortunate people.
Tea production is the largest economic source for Sri Lanka. Many underprivileged residents work as tea pluckers whose income is less than $98. Tzu Chi hosts a charity day in Colombo each month. They distribute rice and daily supplies to reduce local residents' financial burden. Prayantha has no formal job because he has to take care of his ill son.
My son gets sick very often, so I have to take him to the hospital frequently. If I have a formal job, then I won't be able to take him to see a doctor anytime.
The care recipients can also seize this occasion to purify their hearts. They have learned to appreciate their blessings.
I also carry out the act of giving by adopting a Tzu Chi bamboo coin bank. I realize that the underprivileged people can even help those who are poorer than them.
At snack time, volunteers politely serve tea to each care recipient. On the day of these regular events, all of the care recipients bring recycling bags to receive the supplies. With the blessings from Tzu Chi, now they can return home with joy.
In China, in the aftermath of floods in Hunan Changsha, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to provide much-needed relief efforts. After distributing supplies and Jingsi folding beds to flood victims, the volunteers also help the residents clean up their homes. Let's take a look. After the floodwater recedes, damaged furniture is everywhere in Xianrenshi village of Huangxing town. Tzu Chi volunteers have come with cleaning tools to help the residents clean up.
When the flood occurred, he first thought about saving all the villagers. Concerned about everyone's safety, he rowed on his family's boat and took more than 80 people out.
The volunteer is referring to Mr. Li, who was able to save many villagers. After the floodwater recedes, his house looks devastated. Fortunately, more than 10 Tzu Chi volunteers have come to help clean up. As the flood devastated a wide area, the volunteers head to different places to assess damages. Mudslides had taken place in Lianhua town.
We've already evacuated more than 500 people. Since there is a cleft in the mountain, there is the sign of mudslide.
This family suffered the most severe devastation. There's a hole in the house wall caused by stone and mudslide. At the shelter in Langli town, the volunteers also provide much-needed care. After receiving Jingsi folding beds, the flood victims no longer need to sleep on the floor. The volunteers' care has given the flood victims the strength to stay strong as they rebuild their homes. A year ago, Typhoon Napatak brought serious devastation to Tainan County, with nearly 30 schools reporting damage. The total amount of damage was $8.5 million. After the disaster, Tzu Chi helped schools and businesses clean up and undertake repairs. National Tainan Junior College students even made a short film documenting the rebuilding of the school and expressing thanks to Tzu Chi.
This lively dance involves men and women as they perform a traditional Amis and Pinan indigenous harvest ceremony, which is set to music. National Tainan Junior College won the A Group 2016 High School and Vocational School Folk Dance Competition. The school entrance has a special banner congratulating them. This was not an easy achievement as these students were affected by Typhoon Napatak, which took away their practice space.
The windows and walls were all damaged, and so was the floor, as there was no way to practice our dance.
I was sad to see our practice space in such a bad condition, but after it was rebuilt, I was quite happy, as we have a fixed location for practice.
This community classroom took many months to rebuild, and now they have a familiar venue to practice dance. These indigenous dance club students cherish this venue. After Typhoon Napartak, the school suffered much damage. The worst affected area was the computer center, which saw the ceiling collapse and all the computers soaked in water.
First, we took the computers and let them sit for a month so they could dry out. And then the teachers fixed them, as we learned that some 90% of the computers could be used. So we saved a lot of money.
Another headache for the school was an outer wall made from glass was destroyed with desks and chairs thrown about. To rebuild the school to its original design, they have to seek out the original plans and appeal for outside support.
We are very grateful to Tzu Chi for helping us rebuild. According to the original plans 10 years ago, we have repaired all of these walls and strengthened them to be stronger than the original design.
In addition to funds from Tzu Chi, Tainan Junior College also received $393,000 in construction funds from TSMC. With assistance from all walks of life, the pace of campus recovery has increased, and Tainan Junior College students documented this long path through a documentary film about rebuilding after Typhoon Napartak, thanking many who gave a helping hand.
之物感谢东专所有教职员工生与辛苦的国军弟兄及职工们，以及所有同学们共同携手努力。
Following Typhoon Napartak, Tainan County saw 30 schools suffering disaster damage with losses topping $8.5 million. Because the county government couldn't afford the cost of repairs, an application was made to the Ministry of Education.
We are proud that the Executive Yuan Public Works Commission has approved some 98% of our disaster requests.
Because the disaster occurred during summer vacation, mobilizing a large-scale cleaning of the campus was quite difficult. Tzu Chi helped the Tainan Junior College, National Tainan University, Affiliated Physical Education Senior High School, Municipal Baosang Elementary School. A cash for relief program was established to help clean these schools. City's Municipal Baosang Elementary School saw hardware and equipment losses of more than $163,000.
This disaster is much beyond our expectations and hasn't been experienced in decades. Almost 90% of the trees were knocked over, and our special education building activity center and our kindergarten all experienced serious damage.
At that time, Tzu Chi agreed to assist with the repairing of the special education building.
Originally, they would use plywood and then affix tiles on top of this. When it rotted, it would just blow away.
The school's roof would later be rebuilt with steel, and instead of nails, screws would be used to ensure safety.
This is much more durable. If we encounter a disaster like Typhoon Napartak, we should be able to survive. The work can be done quickly, but all these projects cause our school to go into debt of some $150,000, and we hope to complete work by the end of July.
A rosewood tree on campus with more than 60 years of history was threatened by the typhoon, but has since come back and began budding again. This gives hope to a generation of new students who revere this tree and see it as a sign of rebirth.
Hualien District's Agricultural Research and Extension Station has come up with a modified bitter melon that's rich in vitamin C, folic acid, high in fiber, and malic acid. The station is looking to promote this Hualien No. 6 to more farmers so that consumers can be the end beneficiary.
During the summer, gourds are the best at keeping the heat at bay, and the bitter melon is the best at doing so.
For those who don't keep to a regular schedule or those who feel dry mouth, they can eat bitter melon to decrease their inner heat and keep cool. Bitter melon is also good for those with problems with their digestion.
Hualien District Agricultural Research and Extension Station have come up with a new type of bitter melon called Hualien No. 6.
Our mother species helps to bear fruit at every section, while the father species gives a very good taste for the bitter melon.
With a good mouthfeel and high yield, this bitter melon crop is being promoted to local farmers using a variety of organic methods.
With this type of environment and this type of technique and brand, we must put our heart into cultivating this land to give the best harvest. This way, consumers win, the environment wins, and the farmers also win.
Some people might not like the taste of bitter melon, but after processing it into tea or supplements, consumers can eat it with ease, as well as increase the value of this agricultural crop.
39-year-old Mrs. Ho suffers from liver cancer. After a procedure to treat it, she fell into a coma. Her husband immediately responded by donating half of his liver to save her life. The family's 2 children prayed for her recovery, and at last, she was released from the hospital. The scars on this husband and wife pair show that they hope to continue living together for many more years to come.
Ho Yu Shou is quite weak with many tubes in her body as her children are at her bedside giving her encouragement. Her family's encouragement has at last resulted in a day when she can leave the hospital.
I slept for about 4 days, and my family was calling out to me to quickly get better.
At 39 years of age, she had liver cancer resection on the right lobe of her liver last year. She did not expect the cancer to come back in April this year, but the resection of left liver led her condition to deteriorate into a coma, requiring an urgent liver transplant. Her husband immediately stepped in.
I really didn't have to think about it. I immediately said yes.
This long scar on his abdomen is a sign of love for his wife. He gave over half of his liver to his wife. The transplant surgery was quite difficult.
It was quite sticky, and we had to use the blood vessels, which had been affected by the previous surgery. The position was quite tight.
After a month of encountering many ups and downs, support from her family was critical. After being in the hospital for nearly 3 months, she finally recovered. Now she looks forward to a healthy future with her husband and children.
We have known each other for 20 years, and now we are prepared to be together for another 20 years.
As students are on summer vacation, spending their holidays by volunteering is a good choice. 25 students from Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School used their summer vacation to volunteer at Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital and also Taichung Tzu Chi Nursing Home to entertain the elderly. Let's take a look.
Students from Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School sing and make the seniors very happy. In addition to group performances, there are also performances by individuals. Cho Yu-chin, who is going to grade 12, gave us some of his study time because he wants to entertain the elderly.
When I was playing the violin, they all seemed quite happy, and it made me feel worth it.
This is the first time for Guo Yuqi to volunteer in hospital. She has learned to use smile to bring her closer to the elderly.
I will interact with them by asking that grandpa how old he was, or that grandma what she used to do. It could make them feel warm.
25 students from Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School used their summer holiday to volunteer at Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital for 4 days and to learn how to serve people.
The kids felt they've gained much from volunteering. We feel it's like what the master says, don't delay in doing good deeds and being filial. They're reminded of their parents or grandparents.
These students are delighted to see smiles on the faces of the elderly. The volunteer work is a valuable experience they can't feel in class.
As summer vacation begins, the president of Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology in Taiwan led a team to recruit students from abroad. Recently, they made their way to their first stop at Chiang Mai Tzu Chi School in Thailand. After the students attended a lecture and learned the advantages of studying in Taiwan, many have shown their willingness to study at this university in the future.
Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology is recruiting students from abroad. The university president, Luo Wenrui, leads a team to their first stop at Chiang Mai's Tzu Chi School in Thailand.
Being able to study at a university in Taiwan to receive professional education, students can not only learn some expertise, but they can also learn to speak fluent Chinese.
Mr. Luo points out the advantages of learning Chinese in Taiwan to encourage everyone to bravely face their challenges studying in a foreign country.
After finishing their studies, whether they choose to return to their own country or go to other places, they can be more competitive if they speak Chinese.
These students, who came from Shanghai, China, to study in Chiang Mai, is quite interested in going to Taiwan to study.
After attending this lecture, we feel good about Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology. After I graduate from a senior high school in the future, I want to study at this university.
Encouraging students who are willing to study in Taiwan, Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology is confident in providing everyone with a colorful and memorable college life.
At the Tzu Chi Suzhou grounds in Jiangsu, China, a summer camp was recently held for children of migrant workers. Meanwhile, in Taiwan, a children's summer camp was held in Taoyuan, where children learn to cherish their blessings as they learn about the hardship faced by children in other countries. Here's more. In Indonesia, they take the canoe to school. In Zhangjiawan village in China, they have to climb the ladder without safety measures to go to school.
How about the way to school in Taiwan? The lessons are related to the children's life experience so that while they broaden their global view, they also learn to empathize. Meanwhile, at Tzu Chi Suzhou grounds in China's Jiangsu, a summer camp is held for children of immigrant workers. The Tzu Jings and scholarship recipients are the camp assistants. They incorporate Jing's aphorisms into the activities. As the mothers watch the play, they're reminded of how much they learned since they have children.
Before I had my own child, I did not understand all this. I think they probably do not understand this now, since I did not understand this when I was little.
In Suzhou, we felt the care. I'm deeply moved as you've given our children this chance to learn about ways of doing things and moral character.
This is a camp where both the parents and children benefit from the lessons.
In our continuing series on disabled students' inspiring stories, we meet another student from Taichung. When Wang Bingjun was born, oxygen was cut off to his brain, leading him to suffer limb atrophy. Despite his mobility problem and poor vision, he's very optimistic as he always conquers his physical limitations to learn. He says that in the future, he wants to devote his lifetime to medical care to help those who are less fortunate like him. Here's our report.
When Wang Bingjun was born, oxygen was cut off to his brain, causing him to suffer limb atrophy. He relies on the wheelchair to move around. The muscles of his hands do not develop well, so it is not easy for him to hold a pen. He also has poor vision.
I can write numbers well, but it's not easy for me to write Chinese characters, such as my Chinese name. Also, my eyes can't focus when I read.
To strengthen his muscles, he always forces himself to stand up.
If I stand too long, my leg muscles will be sore.
However, these congenital limitations have become one's motivation in learning. He also has more empathy than others, as he always cares for people around him.
He's really great. While I keep caring for his health, he also keeps caring for my health. He has accepted his defect. And I have also reconciled with my illness. I think we have the same faith. I love him so much.
Actually, he's like the son of the class. For example, sometimes when students have some quarrels, he's the only person who calms them down. He always tells his classmates, "That's fine, don't be like this." He's much like their older brother.
He is very brave. Despite his physical limitations, he still works very hard to conquer them.
In the future, he wants to devote his lifetime to medical care to safeguard the health of residents, just like his idol did, the disease poison expert, Dr. Lin Jieliang.
我一定会尽我所能，只要抱着。
I will try my best. I will embrace a doctor's basic goodness and benevolence to deal with the problems that are not easy to overcome.
不能妥协的就不能妥协。
Being able to obtain the Presidential Educational Award this year is not only a responsibility but also a mission for him.
让我更加肯定自己。
Now I feel better about myself, and I have also discovered my value in life.
让我找到我的价值在哪里。
In the United States, Tzu Chi's medical mission has organized a lesson on lean management, attended by the staff of Tzu Chi's medical affiliates. Besides learning about the advantages of standardized operation, they also practice classifying different items at the clinic center in South El Monte. Let's take a look.
Everyone's drawing of a pig is different. However, if the drawing is standardized in a 3x3 grid, then the difference is gone. This is a concept that derived from Toyota production system that aims to lower inventory, eliminate waste, and improve efficiency through standardized operation. It also ensures everyone's safety.
We take care of our volunteers and employees, ensuring their safety and good postures. This way they can carry out their work more efficiently and happily.
We take in consideration of comfort's design. When we extend our arms, we need to make an adjustment if it exceeds this range.
Tzu Chi's medical mission in the United States has organized this lesson on lean management, attended by staff of different medical affiliates in Southern California. They also go to the warehouse of the medical clinic in South El Monte to learn about classification of materials and flow design.
The teacher told us to take a photo of every item and place it in a fixed position with its name, so we would know where to return the items.
As the staff members learn about standardized operation, they've also experienced the advantages of practicing lean management, which improves their work efficiency.
Last year, Tzu Chi volunteers helped the residents clean up after Typhoon Meranti devastated Xiamen, Fujian of China. Therefore, this year, Heyuan community has decided to hold its joint birthday party for seniors at the Tzu Chi office. The volunteers seized the occasion to express their respect for the seniors. We'll leave you with these images at the end of our program. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.